What is Gucci? Welcome back to another episode of 442. Once again, this is your boy Christian. Hopefully you guys can hear me well. So today I'm actually lounging over here. It's gonna be a chill day for me, or at least a chill episode. I'm over here with my baby pillow, hiding my gut. You know what it is, and just chilling. Since we're chilling, we're just gonna talk about some chill stuff. Bro, my hair is messed up, but yeah, it's enough about the dumb stuff. Let me just tell you where you can find the episode. It can be found, of course, on YouTube. So check out the YouTube channel. I'm actually, like I've been saying for the past year, not year, but like since I started the YouTube channel, I'm trying to get to 100. I'm 18. I'm at 18 subscribers. What is that? It's almost 20%. So we're almost there. Kind of, not really, but we can only try so much, right? Or push so hard. But it is what it is. So go ahead and subscribe, like that. Do all the things that you do on that YouTube stuff, so you can just keep watching all these episodes. And I also do some interviews. I've been interviewing. Well, I haven't actually in a minute, but I actually have done some in the past. That I've talked to people around the city, soccer fans around the city, that just love soccer and love the city. So it's actually pretty cool how we get to combine like the world soccer and the city of Houston all together. It's kind of like a melting pot when it comes to soccer. Soccer is a very uniting sport. Like you can go to any park and just have a ball, and you can play with dudes from Africa to like Central America to from Europe, from anywhere basically. That's just what soccer does. So that's basically what I'm trying to do with this podcast, is unite kind of the different people of the world through the sport, right, in the city, since we are one of the most diverse city in the country basically. So you can find also the podcast at 442 on Instagram. That's where I post little pictures here and there and stuff about certain topics that I'm going to be talking about during the week. Also, you can find me at Chris Putalias on Instagram and Twitter. CRISPUTALLAZ. That is my name. You can find me there. You can hit me up if you want to be interviewed. That's awesome. We can arrange something. And then also, if you want to interview me for some reason, just hit me up and we'll set something up. Actually, talking about being interviewed, I was interviewed by a young lady from Argentina. I think, oh man, I'm terrible with names, so I apologize, but I believe it was Melina. So sorry, Melina, if I get it wrong. I'm terrible with names. Because you know how I know your name though? Because I have a friend, or I used to have a friend, or I haven't talked to her in forever, but her name was Melanie, or her name is Melanie, and I know your name is backwards, so it's yeah, I forgot. So if it's not Melanie, is what you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I forgot right there and then as I was stating my point of how I remembered your name. But it is what it is. So yeah, and also we actually talked about the Dash in Spanish. So if you guys want to check that out, actually it's the podcast is called what is it called? La Magia del Gol. So go ahead and check those guys out. They actually do a lot of women's soccer, but in Spanish. So it's pretty cool because me, as a new fan of women's soccer, it's very interesting to see how many leagues are out there of women's soccer. Like, you always think about the NWSL, obviously, because we live here, but you start seeing all these leagues from around the world and how known and how how much potential there is to come to the forefront of like the soccer world as well. Like the Premier League, like, well, the Women's Premier League, basically, Spanish League, Argentinian League, Costa Rican League, Mexican League, obviously the American League, like, and then you have so many women's league that it's just interesting to see, like, how much the sport, not the sport, but like the women's side of the sport has been growing and continues to grow. So it's pretty cool. Check them out. They got really good stuff, really good content. They actually interview a lot of women, like professional women players. So it's cool to see their perspective, as being in a sport that usually is dominated by men or has been in the past, and now you see a little turn to women's soccer being a little bit more popular, and it gets popular as we go. But before I just completely veer off and talk for another hour like I usually do, let's hit up real quick the international soccer world, and then we'll talk about a little bit about the Dynamo since the MLS is back. Not the tournament, but the actual tournament, if that makes any sense. So this, actually today, I'm recording on a Monday. Today was actually Manchester United played Copenhagen, which obviously is not only a dip. If you are a dipper, I guess that's the correct term, I don't know. But if you put dip on your lip, oh, that rhymes, dip on your lip. But Manchester United played Copenhagen. They actually beat them 1-0 in a penalty in extra time. It was actually an interesting game. I saw most of second half and then all the extra time. It was a pretty close game until that penalty came by. And then Manchester United kind of dominated a little bit more, even though Copenhagen, gave them a good fight. And then Inter Milan beat 2-1. They beat Leverkusen 2-1. So if I'm not mistaken, they're actually meeting in the next round in the semifinal. It would be Manchester United Inter. I might be wrong, but I don't think I am. And then tomorrow, Tuesday, or today, as you're listening to it, the Wolves. Shout out to the Wolves. Shout out to Paul. Shout out to is it Clive? No, not with the S. I think it's just Clive. I might be completely off, but actually, cool story. So let me just tell you who's playing before I go on with my stories. So the Wolves playing Sevilla, like we would say in Argentina, and then Shakhtar. That sounds like a Pop-Tart. Shakhtar is playing FC Basel. So this is my dumb joke of the day. So it's gonna be a food fight basically. The Pop-Tarts against Basel. If I'm not mistaken, Basel is actually from Switzerland, so that's pretty cool to see a Swiss team play, right there, quarterfinal. And those are actually going to be played on Tuesday at 2 o'clock here Central Time. So if you're listening on Tuesday and it's 1:30, go turn on CBS All Access. Should be there. But yeah, going back to my story. Last Thursday, I'm training for a new job, so I got promoted at work. So they sent me to a training place, right? And this training place happens to be like a few miles down the road from Nick's place, where the Wolves, the supporter groups for the Wolves, Houston or Houston Wolves, get together to watch the games at Nick's place, which is a pub, right off Westheimer and Gassner. Really cool place, really cool environment, very pubby. I have never been to a pub or a bar. I'm not a bar person, so it was a pretty it was a really homey feel, especially when I walked in, not knowing anybody, and then I walked in. There's a bar right in front of your face, and then I started looking around and I couldn't see anybody, because I didn't know where to look. And then the lady, I think it was a lady or a guy, they were like, "Oh, you can say wherever you want, we'll help you out." And then I turned to my left, and there was two dudes wearing Wolves jerseys, and one of them was Paul, so shout out to Paul. And then one of them was Clive, which pretty funny dude. I'm sure if you know him, he is the typical uncle. I was gonna say drunk uncle, but I'm not that close with Clive to call him a drunk. But he's your typical uncle that's always talking shit and is always making jokes about you and whoever else is coming into the table. And then also there was like I said, I'm terrible with names, But it was pretty cool to meet the other two guys that were there, the two Americans. One of them is actually that I would look him up. My phone's actually recording, but one of them is actually that reporter, that writer that used to write for the Houston Chronicle, and then he moved away, and now he came back to Houston, and a lot of people were excited about him because he was one of the few writers that would write about soccer here in Houston. He actually wrote for the Houston Chronicle. I don't know if he still writes for them now. But it was cool because I followed him on Instagram. On Twitter. I saw everybody following him and everybody kind of welcoming him back to Houston. And I was like, shit, I'm gonna jump on this bandwagon because I'm trying to make connections and I'm trying to get to know people that are soccer people here in Houston. So I followed him, and funny enough, I actually got to meet him in person at the pub. And then the other guy, I completely forgot. I apologize. But another cool guy that was there at the pub. It was funny. I was telling my dad about it, and I was like, Dad, we should go because it's literally watching a game with all your friends and especially with the British guys, because British guys they feel soccer in a whole different wavelength than anybody else does. They're pretty similar to Argentinians or people that are really into soccer, because it's funny to see Paul and Clive, which are Wolves fans since the beginning of time. Basically, Clive was 69 years old or is 69 years old, and he said he's been a Wolves fan since he was 5. So it's 60 plus years of being a fan of a team, And obviously he's seen the ups and the downs, and it's funny to hear him scream at the players, cuss them out, and then the next sentence that comes out is "Oh, I love you," just because he did something good, and the previous play he did something bad, and it's just really funny. And then watching Paul get off, jump from his seat and get nervous because they got a penalty. And it was a cool experience. It kind of brought me back home in a way to watching my parents or my uncles watch soccer games, with the whole family and everybody screaming and yelling. Even though there wasn't a lot of people, you felt the anxiety and the nervousness in the room. So it's pretty cool. So if you have the chance, if you're listening to this podcast, and if you can make it to Nick's Pub, make a run for it. You're going to have a good time for sure. The beers are cheap. I pay I don't know. I'm not a beer guy, but I had a beer and I paid $3. I don't know if that's a lot. I don't know if it's expensive or cheap, but $3, I think it's $2.50, $3 for a beer. That seems normal, I guess. I don't know. And the people there are really nice. The lady, I don't know her name, but she knew my name. She asked me for my name as soon as I walked in, and then she knew my name for the rest of the night or the day because it was at 2:00. But it was cool. It was cool, fun environment. So if you're looking for a team to support, if you don't have one, I recommend following the Wolves and getting together with the Wolves Houston. I still have to go to check out all the other guys that I have done podcasts with the Juan and Only. I remember their name now. The one and only from Peña Madrilista Houston, and then Victor also from the Blaugrana, from the Barcelona Peña. And then I just need to get to know a little bit more people, interview a little bit more people to get to know all the other teams that are around in the Houston, and all the supporter groups that we have here in the city, and just check them out, spend some time and hang out and stuff. But that's actually the Europa League that I was talking about after I went off with my story. And now I'm going to jump into the Champions League. I forgot the name. So the Champions League is also very interesting. You got really, really strong teams playing up there. And the cool thing is that we're going to have one game per day. So we're going to have a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday game. And they're all, I believe, at 2 o'clock as well. And then the first game on Wednesday, you have Atalanta playing PSG. So PSG is the French champion, and Atalanta is actually doing really, really good in the Italian league. I think they're either third or fourth place. And then you got Leipzig that actually fought kind of towards the end for that German league. And then Atletico Madrid, I think everybody kind of knows. If you know Simeone and you know his style of play, you know they're going to be tough to beat. They're going to be tough to play. And then, of course, you have on Friday, you have Barcelona, Bayern Munich. Bayern, the German champion, Barcelona. You got Messi. Messi is just a different animal of his own. So it's just entertaining to watch him play, period. And it's Barcelona. You know, they have the history, so it's going to be interesting. And then, of course, Saturday you have Manchester City, who's also, everybody knows Pep Guardiola, City, and all the players that they have, and all the names, and all the prettiness, and all that, all the good soccer. And then Lyon from France, who just eliminated who did they beat? They beat Chelsea, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong, but it doesn't matter. But Lyon is playing City. And Lyon is usually one of the top dogs over there in the French areas. So that's how we're looking over here in the international sector of soccer. So if you're bored, this week actually you get a lot of soccer when it comes to international stuff. So you're literally watching the best of the best compete for the best of against the best of the best. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a break. And here are some ads. And we're back. So I do that so I know where to actually click it, put the ads in, because if not, then it cuts the sentences. So I thought I would say that. So if you're watching a video, you saw me do the whole pause. So let's talk a little bit about the Dynamo. So we're 15 minutes into the potty waddy, and we're probably going to do another 15 just about the Dynamo, if not more. Water break. I should have done that when I said and stop, right? But I'm not the greatest podcaster, therefore I can do whatever I want, right? So I'll make sure this microphone is working, make sure you guys are listening. The great Houston Dynamo. What can we say about the Dynamo? Our current record right now is 0, 2, and 3. So let's just say we're terrible in a way. We have accumulated 3 points in 5 games, which is terrible. But then also, I'm gonna play like the devil's advocate as well, because I think we give the Dynamo a lot of shit, and I think it's regular, like it's normal, because obviously out of 5 games you haven't won 1. And they're not, and we did play hard teams, but still, it doesn't matter. You're a professional team, you have to play to win. You can't just say, oh, we played hard teams, therefore it's okay to lose. No, it's never okay to lose. Like, who plays to lose? Who plays to tie? That's just mediocre, right? But I was looking at some numbers from the MLS's back tournament where we got to play those 3 games. So of course, if you remember in the beginning of the season and back in March, back when the world was completely normal in a way, and we played Galaxy, we tied 1-1, and then we went up to SKC. We got our asses whooped. I believe it's 4-1 by SKC. Terrible game. And then obviously the first 3 games, the 3 group stage games, and the MLS's back cup counted towards the regular season, which actually will be starting back up here in August 21st for the Dynamo. I believe the 20th it starts completely overall, but the 21st starts for us. And I was looking at some numbers, against LAFC. We tied them 3-3, which, like I said, here's my devil's advocate. LAFC, one of the best teams in the MLS, we tied them 3-3. In a regular day, that's a really good game. Especially if you're losing and you come back and you tie it 3-3, it's a beautiful game. But if you are the one that is winning 3-1 and then you get tied to 3-3, then you are the sucker. You are the one that lost those 2 points, basically. You didn't win 1 point, you lost 2. That's how I see it, right? But we have to look at, the game in general. So some numbers, for example, possession in the whole entire game, it was 71 LAFC, 29 for Houston. Obviously, they dominated the game, right? When it came to shots, they had 23 shots, 6 were on goal. We had 9 shots, 5 were on goal. And then they have 8 corners. We didn't have not one corner. So basically, they attacked a little bit more than us. I mean, a little bit, by a little bit, I mean a shitload more, right? And then we have to look at basically the whole team, the formation of the team, and how we're looking. Me personally, I'm not pleased with the way that we are coming out. I think not having Christian Ramirez gave us it was a really big hit on our team, because Christian Ramirez is one of the better ones that we have, in my opinion. So then we jump into Portland, right? Portland game, another really good team that's always fighting. I mean, Portland right now is in the finals, so they are like the best, one of 2 teams that were the best ones. I don't think Portland has lost, period, in this whole entire tournament. I think Orlando did. I don't think they have either. But Portland beat us 2-1. The possession on that game was 53-47. 53 Portland, 47 Houston. So it was a better game. I think we had 24 shots. We had 4 on goal. 13 shots, they had 7 on goal. And then we had 19 fouls. They had 9 fouls. So obviously it was a very I think we played better than that Portland game than the LAFC game. But we were still lacking because their goals came from counters. And that's what everybody has kind of been talking about, how we lack. I don't know if you guys listen to the Houston Dynamo podcast, but you have Lester Gretsch that he interviews the guys in Spanish, and then you have City of Soccer that they don't do really soccer, like obviously they're interviewing the players, but they don't really go into soccer specifics. They just like talk about life and stuff like that, which is cool because you get to know your players, right? And you get to know who they are and how they live and da-da-da. It's the fun stuff. But then with Lester, what I like about the whole interviews with Lester is that not only he goes, well, he doesn't even go for life questions in general. He kind of did here and there with Valentin. But like most of the questions that he goes for are very like soccer specific and very strategic. And it's something that actually Glenn Davis does as well. That I like, that, yes, they have their fun and of course, but they're really like soccer reporters and they get to like speak soccer to the guys, and then you start getting into the head of the guy as a soccer player, because at the end of the day, like I said, it is cool to find out about their lives and what their hobbies, and they like shoes, they like fancy clothes or whatever. But at the end of the day, we are watching them for their soccer skills and their soccer knowledge in a way. So it's cool to see those interviews. And Lester Gretsch, on the latest one, he's interviewing Darwin Seren, and they were talking about how the team, it's something that they lack is the way that, like, they hold on, I forgot to plug my laptop. It's about to die. So glad I caught it. It was at 9%. I was like, Jesus, baby, sweet Jesus, Lord Jesus. But I caught it. So yeah, going back. So Lester Gage talked to Darwin Seren about soccer-specific stuff, like I was saying. And then Lester brought up the fact that whenever something that the Houston Dynamo really, really likes is like coming back in those counter plays. So like, yes, we attack, but then we don't know how to come back, marking a player or just defending well, like coming back from those attacks. And it was interesting because that was exactly what I felt like that the Dynamo lacked. And I'm just glad that I'm not the only one that sees it. I'm sure most people see it, right? But then also something that Darwin pointed out, which is interesting because you usually don't hear the players talking, not shit, but like being critical of their own team basically. And he was being critical in the way that he was like, we have like no attacking power basically. Like we give it to Manotas, and Manotas is all by himself. Like we don't attack as a unit, which is something that I've been reiterating. And damn, that's a good word. I can only say it once, but I've been saying it more like often and often. Reiterating. I don't know if that said it right, but I've been saying it. Saying it a lot that we don't have a good cohesive. I'm over here trying to speak big words, but we don't have a really good like style of team when it comes to like going forward as a team, or like attacking with numbers and then defending with numbers, or like learning how to defend those counterattacks, like learning to run back with a player, running like con tu marca, like having a guy that you know who you're marking as they're attacking, and that's basically what happened with Portland. And then LA Galaxy game is terrible. It was terrific. It was annoying. It was hurtful. It was offensive. Like it was a bunch of things. Obviously, I think everybody knows 1-1. We needed a win, or not even. No, we needed a win to pass. 64% Galaxy, 36% us. Of ball possession. They had 14 shots, 6 on goal. We had 12 shots, 4 on goal. And they had 10 corner kicks. We have only 1. So then that's where you start seeing all the offensive power and who wanted the game more in a way. I think also Elise and his childish things. Obviously that happened towards the end, but it doesn't help. And then just like the way that we tie that game, it was just terrible. Like it was just a heartbreak, last minute, stupid foul, penalty. It was just crappy, right? But that moves us on to the next phase, phase 1. Look, like the world that we live in today is strange. I was gonna use another word, but it's just different, right? And there's gonna be 18 matches in this thing that we're doing, and with the 5 that we have already played, that gives us a total of 23 matches that every team is going to be playing for this year, basically as the 2020 season. So I'm glad the MLS figured out a way to get some games going, even without fans. I don't know how safe. I really don't want to get into the whole politics of how safe it is. It seems dumb to have a lot of people in the stadiums. But, I just don't want to get into the whole stuff of politics and, this, people say that. I'll keep that to myself. But yeah, I'm glad the MLS figured out a way to get the teams back and keeping the players and whoever is going to be in the stadium safe in a way. Hopefully they figure it out, but in a good way. And hopefully everything goes fine, right? So we will be playing. Also, interesting fact: we played 5 games. Dallas has played 2 games, and they have 4 points. We have 3 points. Nashville has played 2 games. They have 0 points. I'm so glad we're not Miami though. They have lost 5 games. They have played 5 games, lost 5 games, 0 points. And then LA Galaxy, they're on the same boat. We are, basically they have 2 ties, 3 losses, for a total of 2 points, which is, I think that's what we have too. No, we have 3 points because we tied Galaxy, LAFC, and LA Galaxy. So jumping into the games, August 21st, today's August 10th, on Monday, tomorrow's the 11th, of course. So that means that we only have 10 more days for soccer to come back to our city, basically. So the Houston Dynamo is playing friends up north, the FC Frisco. We're playing them on Friday night, 7 p.m. Here at home, of course. So that's going to be interesting because I don't think. Well, obviously nobody has seen Dallas play, so we don't know what the hell they have under the sleeve. We don't know if they play good. We don't know if they suck. I guess the only positive thing that we could come out of this is that they haven't played, right? So they're, I guess you can say that they're going to be rusty in a way because they haven't played a competitive game since March. We are in August. That is what, 5-6 months? So it's going to be interesting to see what Dallas brings to the table because, they haven't played and, we look like we haven't played. So it's going to be un partido de muertos, basically, like the living dead, the walking dead coming back to life. But I have really high hopes. I always do. I don't know why I do this to myself. But I have hopes of my guys. And I hope that we, at least, if anything, I don't care if you lose any of the other games, just beat Frisco those 2 times that you play them. For the love of God. I think I'm going to pray to sweet baby Jesus for those. Then on Tuesday, 25th, this is a good thing too. Like we get them like back to back almost. So a few days after that, we play on Tuesday at SKC at 7:30. So that's gonna be a fun game too because I think I'm just gonna start a prayer. I'm gonna do a podcast / prayer podcast because the Dynamo need some type of prayer. Like I think I'm gonna start calling some grandmas for some limpias or something because it's gonna be tough. But we're flying up to SKC. We're gonna play SKC on a Tuesday at 7:30. And then we played September 2nd. We're playing Minnesota here at home. It's a Wednesday at 7 p.m. Then we play again SKC here at home on the 5th at 7 p.m. And then we play Colorado's. We actually play at Colorado on a Wednesday, the 9th of September at 8 p.m. And then we play once again the friends from Frisco at 7:30 on 9/14. So we are playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games for this phase 1, which is going to bring us to a total of 5 plus 6 is 11. So that means that we have 12 more games. That I guess that's going to be like phase 2. It's going to be interesting to see who we get to play in that phase 2. But at least we're going to, I think we're just going to play with like teams from the West most likely. I don't know. But, all of these teams are from the West. Frisco, Kansas City, Minnesota, Colorado. So 4 teams from the West. So all these games are very, very important because only 8 teams from the West make it to the playoffs, or 10. Yeah, 8 teams because 10 from the East make it to the playoffs. So if we don't make it to the playoffs this year, I swear to God, I'm gonna go on a hunger strike for half a day, most likely, and then I'm gonna be very mad. So we better make these playoffs. Cause I'll be mad. I'm gonna be very pissed off. And I think if we don't make it to the playoffs, I don't know. I'm actually very hopeful for 2021 with all these new kids coming in and with like seeing what Tab Ramos is gonna do with this team. I think he's gonna dismember the team and just bring a whole new batch of people that he likes. So I'm really hopeful for 2021. I'm gonna try not to have my hopes up for 2020, but the bet is still on. I'm just gonna say this live. If the Houston Dynamo win the 2020 MLS Cup, you see all this hair right here? All this hair right here is turning yellow. Oh man, I don't know how I feel about that because my wife is probably gonna divorce me, but then I'll have an MLS Cup. So, the wages are really high in this situation. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know how people are going to take this, but I really want a soccer championship in my lifetime. I haven't been a Houston Dynamo fan since 2006, unfortunately. but I want the Houston Dynamo to win something. The Dash already gave me a little piece of happiness, and they gave me a glimpse of what is to be a champion here in Houston. Watching the Astros win the 2017 World Series, star with star or no star, asterisk, whatever, I don't care. They won it. Period. It was a fun thing. You know, I'm gonna tell my son, hey, like a week before you were born, kid, the Astros were winning a national championship. Why do you call it World Series when you just play American teams? It's another podcast. But baseball, right? But if the Houston Dynamo win the MLS Cup, then this is turning yellow, and we're gonna do. I don't know. I'm gonna have somebody do it. I already said that I was gonna have Memo do it, but I don't know. I guess I need to get in contact with them. But it would be fun to do it, you know, with fellow Dynamites. I'm just baptizing you guys as Dynamites. But all these games are actually going to be shown on Channel 55. It's not the Cube anymore. Shout out to the Cube. We'll miss you, Channel 57 Cube. But now we're going to Channel 55 because CBS is taking over the world, and they decided to take over all soccer. So Channel 55, I guess, is owned by CBS. So they're taking that. Fortunately, I actually just checked my TV, and I actually have Channel 55 in my own little box that I have or whatever. So I'm already ready, man. I'm already ready to watch these games, break them down, cry if I have to. And, you know, it is what it is. I feel like I was going to say something, but I forgot. Oh, yeah, Glenn Davis. I hope to God that Glenn Davis is actually calling these games. I don't know. Glenn Davis is like listening to your uncle like talk about soccer. I don't know. He gives me a little bit of peace because I know he's like a true Houstonian in a way. So it just kind of makes me feel good inside watching Glenn Davis call the games. Hopefully he is with Eddie Robinson too. So another Houston legend. But other than that, this has been another episode of 442. Thank you again for listening. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I always enjoy these. It's, to be honest with you guys, it is a pain in the ass to get set up, even though like this is my setup right here. As you can see, I'm lounging. But you know, getting all these episodes started and doing the stuff is just kind of, it takes stuff out of me, especially after putting the kids to bed, after bathing them and all that. But once I start talking, I can't shut up. So it's actually fun. It's fun talking about soccer, even if I'm talking to myself. I don't care. I'll talk about soccer to myself. But it's cool to know that some people actually watch and listen. So shout out to you listening and watching. Thank you for listening. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, interact with me. You know, let me know that you're alive and you're listening. I actually really enjoy talking to people. You know, even if it is online, it's actually, you know, makes me feel important that somebody's listening to me. But other than that, peace. See you guys later. Yeah, have a good day. I was gonna say have a good game, but don't forget to watch all these games, international games, if you're liking soccer. Tomorrow or today, if you're watching this on Tuesday, MLS Cup. MLS is back. Final is Orlando, Portland. That's gonna be very interesting because, you know, Orlando's trying to pull this miracle out of their back pocket, and then Portland is just being Portland, you know. And I am a Diego Valeri fan, so I'm rooting for Valeri. But then it's also cool to watch Nani kind of transform Orlando. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun. But other than that, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching for the 50th time. And let's make this podcast great again. Or let's make the Houston Dynamo great again. How about that? I'm just going to shut up before I just keep saying stupid stuff. So, see you guys later. Y'all have a good one. And don't forget to tell your mom about the podcast because she'll love it too.